When Sarah told me she wanted to pause our marriage, I thought she was joking. We'd been married for 8 years, and though things weren't perfect, I never imagined she'd ask for something like that. She said she needed space, a break to find herself, during a solo trip to Tokyo. I tried to understand, but deep down, I felt something was off. Still, I agreed, partly because I wanted to believe in her honesty, and partly because I was afraid of pushing her further away. The night before her flight, she kissed me goodbye with a kind of distance I couldn't describe. Her eyes didn't linger the way they used to. When I helped her carry her luggage to the car, it felt like I was helping a stranger. I watched her drive off, waving from the doorway, unaware that this pause would soon become the turning point of my life. At first, I tried to stay positive. I focused on work, met friends, and kept myself busy. But soon, her calls became shorter, her messages delayed. She stopped saying, "I love you." Then she stopped calling entirely. I convinced myself it was the time difference, the busyness of her trip, but my gut told me otherwise. Something wasn't right. One night, unable to sleep, I checked her Instagram. There she was, smiling under neon lights, holding shopping bags, posing beside a man I'd never seen before. At first, I told myself he was just a travel buddy. But then I saw it, a hand on her waist, a caption with a heart emoji, and comments from friends that made it obvious. My wife hadn't paused our marriage. She'd replaced it. For days, I was numb. I didn't confront her, didn't call, didn't even text. I wanted her to think I was fine, that I was moving on peacefully. But inside, something inside me hardened. I decided if she could move on so easily, maybe I should, too. Not in bitterness, but in quiet revenge, the kind that doesn't destroy you but sets you free. When she finally called, 2 weeks later, her voice was casual. "Hey, just checking in," she said, as if nothing had changed. I played along, pretending everything was fine. She mentioned she'd be back in 2 weeks and wanted to talk things over. I told her I'd be here when she got back. She didn't realize she'd be coming back to a very different home, and a very different husband. In that time, I focused on myself. I redecorated the house, got in shape, reconnected with people I'd neglected, and even started going out with coworkers. One of them, Emma, had always been kind to me. She knew something was wrong but never pried. Her company was peaceful, something I hadn't felt in a long time. She reminded me that I didn't need to beg for someone's love to feel whole again. When Sarah's flight finally landed, I didn't rush to the airport. Instead, I sent her a simple text, "Welcome home." She arrived later that night, luggage in hand, expecting a reunion. Instead, she walked into a living room that looked completely different. Her photos were gone, her corner of the closet empty. She froze when she saw me sitting calmly on the couch. "You redecorated?" she asked, forcing a smile. "I moved on," I said simply. "You paused our marriage." "I didn't." She tried to laugh it off, saying I'd misunderstood, that the man in her photos was just a friend. But I'd already seen the truth, and I wasn't interested in her stories anymore. The more she talked, the clearer it became. She thought she could return and pick up right where she left off. I told her that while she was in Tokyo finding herself, I had found myself too, and discovered I didn't want a wife who treated love like a game she could pause and resume. She started crying, saying she'd made a mistake. Maybe she had, but some mistakes can't be undone. The next few days were filled with awkward silence. She stayed in the guest room while she looked for an apartment. I didn't yell or argue. I'd already let go. The revenge wasn't in hurting her, it was in showing her that her actions no longer had power over me. Before she left, she asked if I'd forgive her someday. I told her forgiveness wasn't the problem. I simply had no feelings left to rebuild anything with. She nodded quietly and left the keys on the table. Watching her drive away this time felt different. I wasn't broken anymore. I was free. Months later, I learned she'd tried to contact Emma, probably hoping to make things messy. But Emma, being who she was, told her calmly that I wasn't interested in drama. That was the final closure I needed. Now, when I look back, I don't see the man who was betrayed. I see the man who found strength in being honest with himself. Sarah had paused our marriage, but I had pressed fast forward, into a life where I didn't need revenge through pain, only peace through letting go.